Ever since Deion Sanders announced his decision to leave Jackson State for the University of Colorado, many are both defending and criticizing him for his choice. On Wednesday morning, Sanders will go live on Instagram to answer questions from fans. On Live, Sanders will offer up solutions on how HBCUs can continue to make an impact even after his departure. Many of the students Sanders spoke to seem very supportive of his decision, but there's still some out there who want to know why Deion is leaving. Today we'll have our comedy hype analysts, Yamanika Saunders and Pierre, call into the show to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I'm so concerned about how your life and what I'm doing for your life.
Right.
What about my life?
My life,
and my kids' life. But my mama's like, shoot, I got everybody. Their mama died. My mama here with me, my sister, my nephew, my son, my sons.
Yeah, and I think people don't get a lot of time. You know, it'd be what then how can they benefit out you? And sometimes
there you go.
They enjoy the highs of it, and then when it comes to the end, like disappointment. You know, it's like a bad breakup with anything. You know?
American coaches terminated at Power Fives.
Right.
Not one was replaced with another African American man but me.
Right.
So this is something that we're this is, you talking about a high calling. This is a high calling. That God has opened the door so I could go in and crack that thing and let others in. Right. This is what we're trying to do, Grimes. It's a bigger picture than what they see, but God does not give your vision to other people.
Right.
So this is my vision.
And that's the thing about it with people like you. It's like if you win 0-30, you know what I'm saying, didn't win the game, then it wouldn't be an issue.
Oh no, it ain't no issue.
Be ready while you're here, but it's like,
well, you get terminated. Remember I said you get terminated, elevated, one of the two. Ain't no issue.
Yeah, and I tell people like why is it? You know, it's like it's because the HBCU, and what about the black children that's going to attend Colorado? They don't matter because they don't attend HBCU.
No, not to them, they don't.
Right, so that's the whole thing, Coach. But like, it come with the territory, like I tell you all the time. It come with.
Hey, Graham, look here, man. When I was 8 years old, they was talking about me.
Right.
When I was 10, they was talking about me. When I was 15, when I chose Florida State, when I chose to play 2 sports, when I left Atlanta,
right.
When I went to San Francisco, when I went to Dallas, when I went to Washington, when I played for the Yankees, the Braves, as well as the Cincinnati Reds. They don't ever stop talking. You know why? Because I provoke thought and I provoke change.
Yeah.
When you're a change agent and a conduit of change, baby, they're going to keep on talking. When they stop talking, they're
very happy. I just have one follow-up question. And I want to know how you feel about still the importance of HBCUs. I know Jackson is a tough place.
The importance of HBCUs are vital. I really think a lot of change still needs to take place. I tried to do my part in every aspect, not only athletically, but academically and just structured and organizational as well. Honestly, I think the higher ups, they need to hear from the students. They really need to sit down and talk to the students about what is what. And long as you are connected and attached to these young people, you will understand the trials and the tribulations that they're dealing with and they're enduring. And things got to change. And if it don't, it's going to be the consistency and complacency of not enough. And I'm sick of living in that place of not enough and our hands out begging and asking for more. We got to stop that. So I would never abandon that fight. And you won't hear about it till it's all said and done about really the depths and how far we went to make things right and how many people we're blessing to take to another level. You'll hear about it maybe after, because they ain't gonna clap until everybody want you to be David and kill Goliath, but when you start being David and you slay Goliath, they make you David. And they make you Goliath and they try to build a David, if you understood that.
I understood.
Thank you. So we got a whole lot of changing to do if we want to be consistency. If we want to be consistent in what we're trying to accomplish.
And as alums, how do you think we can help in that?
You got to get back involved. I mean, it's sad when only 7% of alumni give. So how are we going to provoke change if we don't give? Change comes from people and it comes from resources. So we're going to have to influence more people and have the resources to really provoke change. The reason we were able to provoke change because we partner with different companies that I had the connectivity to. So we're able to get a new practice field. We're able to get new this and new that and certain things and show you from a documentary form our journey. If you hadn't known that and seen that, it's hard to connect with us because now you don't have a vested interest. And I'm glad that people have their eyes on HBCUs right now and they're watching. But we have so much farther to go because even in the Power Fives, we're not represented properly. On the field, yes, but not in the coaching positions, and that's something that we're trying to change. So it's going to always be a fight, and it should be. Anything is worth having, you got to fight for.
Right.
Hey guys, in the comments, quit doing the racial stuff, man. It's time to unite. Let's stop that. Don't do the white, the black. Don't do that. That's divisiveness. The Bible says, 16 Lord hates. Yea, 7 is an abomination. And the last one is sowing discord amongst men. You don't sow discord. You bring people together. Don't do that. That's what God hates. I mean, hate is a strong word. And when it said God hates it, you don't want to do that.
Now, this is one of the first times we've seen Deion talk directly to his fans, so I'd love to get your reaction. And Pierre, I'll start with you. Of course, I want your reaction, but also, do you agree with Deion that one of the solutions is that higher-ups of HBCUs need to connect more with their students? Pierre?
Well, of course, but it's always good to put some Bible verses in when you're talking to black folks trying to get your point across. It's always a good move to put the Lord up in there, brother. First of all, that connectivity he was talking about, the reason it was connectivity, he got the hookups and stuff because he's a GOAT. He's a legend. I remember when he came over to the college, when he first started coaching, he was telling about how top 5 recruits, black recruits, need to come over to HBCUs instead of running to those top five schools and stuff. Now, he did the opposite. You know, he did what he told him not to do. And he says more about racism. He said black players who are top 5 in wide receiver position, whatever position you are in high school, don't run to those white schools. Come to the HBCU schools. He said that, so he made it about black. And now he goes over there with the white schools. The message sounds kind of crazy. Sure, he wants us to find out what it's going to look like later on. Yeah, he's like, oh, calm down later on. Well, I'm here for the later on. All right, I'm here for the later on.
I like that. Yeah, we'll definitely dive into that race piece. But first, let me bring Yamanika in because this is the first time we'll actually hear from you, Yamanika. So I love your reaction overall, but specific to this clip that we've seen, I want to start with the part of what he felt like what was the solution for HBCUs. Do you agree that higher ups of HBCUs need to connect more with their students? Yamanika.
I mean, the hypocrisy of it all, right? You cannot say that the alumni or the higher ups of HBCUs are not supporting HBCU or the culture there, and then also be someone that said you were going to support the culture at the HBCU level and then abandon it. Because then he's talking about himself. I know that seemed like a Harry Potter riddle, but if you go back, you understand what I mean. I'm not going to tell you that you're not doing your job when I'm also leaving the job that I said I was going to do. We all in the same pool together at this point.
Absolutely. Now, I want to add a piece to that because Deion has been, I guess, I don't even want to say over-explaining, but he's been consistently speaking out throughout this entire thing. And he does mention that one of the reasons he is making this decision is because there aren't enough of black coaches in that Power 5. So, Pierre, I'm going to come back to you. Do you think what he's doing is, because there's so many comments, and I know we've talked about this a little bit, people are saying, you know, that's more symbolism and not direct impact. So I want to ask you, do you think him making that move to the top 5 because there aren't enough the Power 5 because there aren't enough black coaches is more symbolism or direct impact? And if so, which do you feel is the best route to take, Pierre?
I understand what he's saying, and he's correct. Sure, about that next level, there's maybe not enough black coaches. Are we talking about black again, or just coaches? Because, you know, you're going to bring up race now. It's not about race and stuff, but he's trying to go up there, being a black man, being in a black school, white schools. He's right. He's right about what he's saying. But again, you know, to leave your men on that field and move to the next level, when you said you wasn't kind of, not say you said you wasn't going to do that, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't smell right. You know, Deion's his own man. He does his own thing, man. I get it. But, you know, a lot of people feel bewildered and betrayed from what he said and did. Sure, at the end of the day, let's say he does work it out right and he becomes the best coach in the top 5. I'll show you, and he brings another black coach there. Okay. But he still affected those young boys out there and the message he gave. So,
Yamanika, let me bring you in and ask you that same question. Do you think, Deion saying one of the reasons he's doing this is because there aren't enough black coaches in that Power Five? Do you think that's more symbolism, or do you think it's direct impact? And which do you think is more effective?
Let me say this. It's a tale as old as time, right? What did Beauty and the Beast say? Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, nigga selling out. That's my remix version to that. Okay. It's called Beauty and the Nigga. Now, I agree with Pierre. 1 minute you say it ain't about race, and then you say it's about race, and then it's not about race, and it's about race. Well, is it about race or is it not about race? And Black people love that. It's the highest level of hypocrisy, and is the highest level and form of gaslighting, to be as condescending to tell a group of people who, remember, Black people, the things that are impacting our communities and towards us is namely because of our race. So then to talk to people who are affected because of their race about not acting as if race is ever an issue is condescending and is hypocritical. And this is why I tune the man out. I don't, listen, if we wasn't talking about Deion Sanders right now, I would never talk about the man again. I think the man is a clown show and he's a clown car. He seems like the type of man that would only be a part of the Christian religion because it promotes the hierarchy of men in a lot of ways. And so he benefits also by being a man, right? Everything he does benefits him.
So let me ask this, and then I want to open up the floor to our studio audience member. And Yamanika, I'll start with you because we kind of discussed this earlier in the week. Do you think, because of this decision and in this controversy of what we're seeing and feeling on the forefront, do you think it discredits everything he's done before? Because in the last 3 years, he has poured into the HBCU. He's brought resources. He donated half of his salary back into the program, and we've seen him elevate that space. So do you think because of how people are feeling now, like that completely discredits all the work that he's done up until this point?
Yeah, he did a couple years of good work. Good for him. There's a lot of people who don't who donate to HBCUs that are just doing it for a tax write-off. Sure, good for him. What it is for me is the double talk, right? He went in, he said he was there. God told him. That's what he said. God told him to go over there. And then a couple years later, God didn't know that he wanted to go to Colorado State. Does seem like, what God are you serving? Because I don't serve the God of confusion. If you spoke to God and you really listened to him and he told you to go over there and rescue the HBCUs, why would you leave before they've been rescued? What we understand is it's an opportunity for him to shine. And again, I agree with Pierre, for him to go somewhere and then be one of the few Black people in an environment. If he was so concerned about the Power Five, he could go help some other Black coach get in there and advocate for them while he continues to do what he said God told him to do, which is rescue the HBCUs. But it wasn't about that. It's always been about Deion Sanders all the time. It's always about him. And that's what I'm saying. It's the hypocrisy of what he is talking about. The abandonment of the HBCUs, which need him. We have to understand also, this happens a lot in our community, right? Black people do something very successfully. White people start to pay attention. They want the same results that we have. And then they go poach him. He leaves a winning team that he was helping to win to go do what? Rescue a losing, mostly white team so that they can go on to victories. It's somehow that doesn't seem like that's Black forwardness or proactiveness towards the Black community. But then again, let's not make it about race, because you know what? We all have to try to fit into this box and get along while we're at the bottom of the pool again.
Now, Pierre, let me bring you in. I know we've had this discussion. I know I have my views. They don't quite reflect what the, our analysts have. But of course, I do think being able to have, different point of views on here. So I want to propose that same question to you. Do you think how people are feeling now completely discredits the work that he's done? Because I do agree, that people, I think everyone has a right to feel away, because I feel away, and I think I've expressed it, I feel away. But for me, I do think he created a conversation that we as people need to step in and carry the torch, as I mentioned. But I'd love to get your thoughts, Pierre. Do you think how people feel now completely discredits the work that he has done up until this point?
Well, me and you have the same feeling. You just have you on both sides of the fence. I'm just on one side. You kind of agree, and then you kind of don't, and you understand, and you don't.
Two things can, in the words of Yamanika, two things can be true.
I ain't mad at you, sister. I ain't mad at you, sister, for that. So yeah. Really, here's the thing. Deion Sanders can do what Deion Sanders wants. We all know that. He's already done what he wants. He does his thing. He probably has the right, thought process of what he's trying to get done. Let's be real. He probably thinks that. He may be right. He said, in time, we'll tell. But right now, the Black community, some of the Black community are hurting because, he has to understand that the reason that HBCUs got shined on recently in the last couple of years because of him, because one of the greatest football players of all time came there. That's why ESPN did, whenever he has a news conference, they talk to him and they want to see what he has to say. Trust me, when he leaves, all that glory is leaving with him. It wasn't there before him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't there 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It wasn't the HBCUs weren't shining on ESPN and all that kind of stuff. So he brought that. He knew what he brought when he came. I'm gonna bring the media and the limelight to HBCUs. Now he took it out. Now he's saying, y'all handle it yourselves. No, it's not gonna handle it like that unless you get another superstar GOAT to go into that HBCU and start coaching those players again or bringing shine to that. But as he leaves, he takes his shine with him. And guess what? I bet you University of Colorado gonna be on TV or gonna get some shine and some newscasts because the GOAT is over there, because Deion Sanders is over there. So a lot of people feel abandoned and hurt, by it. And he's like, well, make it happen yourselves now. I gave you a little something to start it off. Sure, he did. But it needs more than 3 years of Deion Sanders being at an HBCU. We need other players. So that's where the hurt is. People are like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I want to open up the floor to an audience member. Actually, this is a very special audience member. This is Andre Walker, who is an artist here in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is actually an artist that we've collaborated with for the My Mama Black tees and hoodies that you see. So I'm super excited to have him today, and I want to open up the floor. So Andre, thank you for joining us, and of course, I'd love for you to ask your question to our analysts.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to say, first and foremost, I don't think this would have been that big of a topic if it was not in Mississippi. I mean, nobody, and I repeat, nobody, not a celebrity, a doctor, a lawyer, not even Oprah, who is from Mississippi, has even talked about Mississippi. As a former college athlete, shoe companies play a huge, huge, huge part in all of this. And especially with resources and hidden resources. And I can tell you, it's hard for me now at my age to even buy tennis shoes because I used to get them always free and they pass them out and everything. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on with that. And I'd like to hear what Giaz has to say about that.
First of all, I love that shirt,
Thank you.
Deion went and spoke to Colorado and said it wasn't about the money, right? So then it's not about the money. That's what he said out of his own mouth. So then what is it about? I understand sponsorships. I'm a businesswoman. If he wanted to go in and be a part of Colorado or he did not have to be a part of the HBCU. The reason why this conversation is happening for me is because of the way he came into Jackson and acted as if he was going to be their Messiah and then see this vision through and carry it to a place where we could see real success. And he hasn't done that, right? I'm not a big football fan or absolutely not a player, although maybe I could be a linebacker, but it seems like he didn't do a complete pass. So at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. It's about the words that are coming out of your mouth, and it's about the hypocrisy for me. I understand getting a bag. I understand getting money. But sometimes if we would just rebuild and enforce our own communities, we have so much money that we spend outside of our own communities that if we would just focus that community and energy on ourselves, we could be in a position where we could be contenders without having to get into the Power Five, which has nothing to do with Black people.
Like the gentleman said, he's right. Mississippi, is unfortunately, a place that gets hit hard and doesn't have the resources. And someone like Deion comes over there and lightens it up for him. And trust me, when he leaves, that's leaving too. He can sit there and say, no, it ain't. Them shoe sponsorships, they'll hang around for a little bit, okay, to make it look good for them and stuff, for the team. But they're not going to be there in longevity. They're there for the publicity, the football, the team. The team is, the companies, the sports company. And he's taking the publicity out of it. He's taking that major thing. People don't realize how powerful Deion Sanders' presence is in the HBCU community and area and coming there to a school. You've seen it. You've seen Swag Me. You've seen those things go viral and his videos, things, some of the stuff he says. Now it's gonna go viral with University of Columbia, Colorado behind him. And so he's right. A lot of those Black places don't have those resources and need those resources. And, sure, Deion can say, hey, man, I did what I did. I'm out of here. But I don't think it's going to reignite it and start again. Time will tell. I don't think it's going to be reignited like if he would have stayed another year or two and maybe try to get other Hall of Fame players to coach in the HBCU and bring that light on and then move on. I ain't mad with the move on. I'm just mad the way he's doing it and what he promised up front. That's all I'm saying. And I hope Mississippi doesn't get hit too hard, which they know. We know what it is beforehand. We see them stands weren't filled before he got there, and now them stands are filled when he was here. Let's be real. Deion knows what Deion brings, okay? So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Andre, for joining us. Of course, before you head out, one, I'd love for you to tell people how they can follow you, but also a little bit, if you could tell us a little bit about what inspired My Mama Black.
My great-grandmother was a slave, and she was darker than all of y'all, probably darker than the hoodies and shirts that we're wearing. She was about 4'11", and she was within an arranged marriage through my French Creole great-grandfather in Louisiana. So I heard about the struggles, and then my mother, who was extremely light, like almost as light as this, and then all the brothers were like your complexion. So, but to see her struggles and to see what she was going through, and I can remember as a kid, and I hope I don't start crying, that I can remember there was 4 of us, including my mother. There was 5 of us, and we had $1. And so I would visit my mother in San Diego. We'd have $1. I'd walk down and we'd get 16 rolled tacos for $1. So we'd have like 2 rolled tacos, which is basically a tortilla with a little bit of cilantro in it, and that was dinner. And so, going to the Goodwill. So I started hustling and painting, and here I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the brand. I love what you've been able to do, and even, working with you, it's such an inspiration. So I love that, and definitely appreciate you sharing your story. For anyone that's interested in following you, and I know you have other artwork, how can they follow you on social media?
Probably the best place right now, I'm kind of mobile between here and Cali, but I would say on Instagram, Best Painter Alive. Again, it's Best Painter Alive.
Absolutely. Well, again, we'll make sure to have it at the bottom for everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, Andre. We appreciate you so much. Now, of course, before we head out, I want to know what you all have going on. So, Yamanika, I'll start with you first. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
Did he say his grandmother was a slave?
Great-grandmother.
Oh, great-grandma. I was like, how old is he? Then he said his website ended in .net, and I was like, got it. Him and Pierre about the same age. But yeah, say it, Pierre. Anyway, I'm so proud of that brother, and that's really, to be honest. Let me just take the moment to say this. This is what Black women are always asking Black men to do as well, right? He understood that he was in a different situation than his grandmother. He saw with great-grandmother, saw what she was going through and had empathy for that. And now we have this My Mama Black shirts, and there's a whole thing behind that. So you know what? Salute to that brother, and I will be supporting that and promoting that also on my page, and let everybody know, go get those My Mama Black t-shirts. Today was not, listen, I don't like nothing about football unless it requires me just to look at men in their jock straps. Okay. I don't care about Deion Sanders. What I do care about is I do care about those young men that he left behind. I wish them well. Deion Sanders is going to do whatever he does. Good for him. But don't, what's her name? Judge Judy said, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, honey. Don't tell me it's not about race when it's about race, baby. Don't gaslight me. Don't try to get me into a trauma bond with you, Deion Sanders. And at the very least, if you ever gonna put yourself on television, go ahead and shave that little scruff, honey. Don't nobody want to see it. We want to see that jawbone. He got that little thick jawbone right there, that sleek jawbone. Show us the $1 million jawbones and the teeth.
And of course, how can people follow you, Yamanika?
Well, I told you, I'm trying to get my website, Big Bertha and 2 cats and post-wall. Don't no man want no masculine black woman.com. I don't know, girl. I'm trying to do the best I can. Here's what I will tell you. The few Black people that are in Rhode Island, December 16th through 17th, I will be at the Comedy Connection. Please show up and listen. be prepared to get a hug from me at the Comedy Connection. Okay? Don't come with no drama. Don't come with no mess. All right? Comedy Hive is about fun. We about love. We about togetherness. So leave your little attitude about me at the door and in the comment section and come to have some damn fun at the Comedy Connection 217, Providence, Rhode Island. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. And last and certainly not least, Pierre, what do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
All right, y'all. I'm on my way to Germany. That's where I'm right now at the airport. That's what I got going on right now. I'm going to Germany for a couple of days, do some shows for the servicemen. And December 11th in DC, if you're in the DC area, come to the City Winery. Me and the legendary Tony Woods and a lot of other folks are doing a comedy show. So come out and support that. And you can always follow me at Comic Pierre and my podcast is on YouTube. So I thank y'all. And Dominique, like you said, light-skinned brothers too. You know what I'm saying? Light-skinned brother kind of low man in the mouth. Got that strength over there. All right, peace out.
Well, you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Deion Sanders responding to criticism from fans? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. My mama black. Yeah. Big fan of the Comedy Hype News Show? Well, now you can join us live in studio for lunch at Comedy Hype. Click the link down below in our description or go to our Instagram page and click the link in our bio for your chance to RSVP. I hope to see you here for Comedy Hype News. I'm Symphony Thompson.